The actual situation of the roads and highways in Colombia. Nowadays, Colombia is in a low position talking about the road infrastructure development, and in fact shows a big lag compared to other countries in Latin America, and even more compared with other countries in the world, especially with developed countries. This, in part, is because the investment of the government have been increasingly lower over the time. This situation is so worrying because it directly affects the productivity and in consequence the competitiveness of the country, talking about the freight transport, which, as we can see in the graphic, moves over 117 million of tons registered in the 2010 and keeps increasing. To introduce the importance of this problem, let's talk about the development and growth related with the transport inside the countries in general. It is important to point out that, as Adam Smith says, the size of the market is limited by the transport costs. Additionally, the division of the work is limited by the size of the market. And finally, the division of the work increases the productivity of the society. Taking into account this, we can analyze this graphic, which shows a comparison of the transport and in general logistic costs as a percentage of the gross domestic product, in Spanish call it the PIB or PIB, between some relevant countries. It shows that Colombia has a percentage higher of the 20%, and this means that in Colombia on average the 20% of the cost of some product is associated to how the product reached the point of sale. However, the developed countries around the world as USA or Singapore has so small percentages that do not exceed the 10% that is represented in the effectiveness of this transport system. That are good examples of development. According to history, in the 19th century, Colombian road infrastructure was focused principally on the train development, as in most other countries in America. Generally, it was implemented in the independent countries where the freight and passenger transport by train was an important tool for development. This transportation mode gave way to a sustainable road infrastructure that integrated the development inside of the country. The train was an efficient transport system, which promoted the Colombian market to have a higher connectivity with the metropolis market by an easier way. The use of the train in Colombia was well received and met in order to integrate the national market, but this was only present for communication to the sea or to Magdalena River, leaving the other parts of the country, like the north, disconnected of the national land transport network. In 1945 was created the Ministry of Public Works and Transport in Colombia, and the road system was replacing the train, because the roads did allow higher slopes during construction and operation, and was not as restricted as the train. The roads, with ease and flexibility, were more suitable routes from Colombian geography. Considering this, in 1910 was launched a more structured program for road construction, and in 1950, even when the infrastructure was poor, there was a national integration and the country had a higher benefit from it. In consequence, several measures were installed for the construction, financing and care of the road pathways. The incorporation of road transport in Colombia forced the country to lose the important infrastructure of the train, affecting the national and regional economy, and the advantage of having no traffic problems and a joint and an integrated system to give travel efficiency in synergy with the train system. This mistake was a big loss of progress in massive freight transport, and in consequence it was a lag in the infrastructure. The quality of road infrastructure has multiple manifestations. It opens to industry and trade new markets, contributes to the development of the cities, enhances the land, and generates development and integration into a national and international level. Currently, the poor state of road infrastructure in Colombia makes that the developing decay became more visible, and Colombia gets classified as a developing country without sustainable road infrastructure and infrastructure high quality. One reason for this lack of development may be that there is a low quality in construction, and the maintenance is not good enough to keep them functional and aesthetic. The maintenance of roads in Colombia is divided by mayors and governors who are responsible for the secondary and tertiary roads, and the rest are managed and controlled by the national government. This distribution means that there is not equity with the resources in charge of the maintenance of the tertiary roads because the government does not take them as important ones. According to this, the backwardness of the road infrastructure in Colombia, comparing with the developed countries, is so high, and to reach a high performance of the non-urban transport, there will be necessary to build more than double of the current infrastructure by land, with the purpose of cover the demand of the motor vehicles and give free way to the freight transport in all the network. In Colombia, the lack of planning is one of the major shortcomings in the implementation of projects, which are designed without previous studies, and in consequence, the difficulty increases when projects go forward. That's why the projects advance very slow, causing the state to lose great resources and contributes negatively with less money for new infrastructure. Money that is only used at the same time with other resources to fix local problems in the transport network, but not to fix general ones which are the real cause of the damages and local problems. Also in the country, topography and climate are not regular, and this makes more difficult to handle civil works, which must have increased runtime that does not bring benefits to the country but causes us to lose even more money and time. And finally, the road works do not have the required quality. The construction of road infrastructure is imperative in Colombia to reach regional improvement and promote delivery of quality services. An important part of the economic expansion that Colombia needs is represented in the lack of a road network system that allows to carry out the freight transport without the particularly vehicular traffic uncertainty. Is required also to connect Colombia's leader industrial and commercial centers with the capital and with other major cities, the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans, and the existing road in the country. Talking about the actual situation and expectancy, Colombia's road administration body, Instituto Nacional de Vías, INVIAS, will carry out investments of around $247.62 million in infrastructure projects in the new 2013. Some of the INVIAS projects include the construction of several roads such as Tumaco-Pasto Mocoa with an investment of $14.81 million, San Miguel Santana with an investment of $16.32 million, and Popayán La Plata at a cost of $10.88 million, Furthermore, Envias will also invest $69.66 million in road maintenance projects.
Based in the Infrastructure Report of Colombia made by the ANI, Agencia Nacional de Infraestructura, or National Infrastructure Agency, and other organisms, Colombia is the fourth largest economy in Latin America after Brazil, Mexico, and Argentina. So the government has decided to create a strong portfolio of projects. The most important projects that the government has planned are focused in 5 key sectors: housing, mining and energy, infrastructure, agriculture, and innovation. The ambassador for Republic of Colombia in the United Kingdom says that Colombia offers very attractive opportunities. In a statement, he says, "We will invest 33 billion euros in infrastructure over the next decade, with very competitive game rules." Colombia is now recognized by experts as one of the world's most dynamic economies, with a robust democracy, healthy institutions, social progress, and full respect for the rule of law. In 2011, the Ministry of Transportation, alongside ANI, rolled out a list of proposed transportation infrastructure for the next 10 years, which adds up to $50 billion worth of investment. According to a study developed by eConcept, a local independent consultancy, the main government objectives for 2018 are to generate a 5-fold increase in kilometers of double-lane highways, a 3-fold increase of operational railways, duplicate the capacity of ports, and increase 50% the number of mobilized passengers in airplanes. Colombia has already signed 25 contracts that include more than 5,800 kilometers worth of roads under concession. Currently, there are 875 of 4-lane highways under construction and 670 of 4-lane highways in operation under a concession structure. By 2014, the country should have 2,280 kilometers of 4-lane highways, and by 2018 that number should increase to 3,400 kilometers. Therefore, the country still expects to procure more than 6,000 kilometers in order to complete the national road network. In total, the aim is for the government to concession more than 10,000 kilometers of roads. In conclusion, Colombia has an important investment in road infrastructure and has goals of development, thanks to which it becomes in a higher place in the infrastructure global ranking, and the economy increased so as to be an important, interesting, and attractive country in Latin America, talking about of economy and infrastructure growth. And all of these contributed to the life quality expectancy in Colombia promises to be better compared to the actual situation.